Right now at 10, one person is injured after a shooting on Madison's east side. We'll have the latest from the ongoing police investigation.
And Madison's mayor unveils her proposed 2026 operating budget, what effect her plans could have on city residents.
Plus, millions of Americans could see their health care premiums rise next year. The impacts we could see in Wisconsin if tax credits are not extended. That's all coming up on News 3 now at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. Madison police are investigating tonight after a shooting on the city's east side injured one person.
Our Maddie Heimsch joins us with why police say they believe this incident was targeted. Maddie?
Well, police say they believe the suspects involved in the shooting at Trafalgar Place and Kurt Drive knew each other. And while the area has now been cleared, they're still searching for a vehicle that left the scene after the shots were fired.
When we arrived on scene, we did find one individual with a non-life-threatening or seemingly non-life-threatening injury.
As Madison police conduct interviews with witnesses and bystanders in the immediate hours after the shooting.
To the best of our knowledge right now, the individuals involved did know each other, and this is part of an ongoing issue.
A car covered in bullet holes is towed away from the scene at Trafalgar Place and Kurt Drive. Other vehicles remain at the intersection with apparent damage.
A vehicle of interest did leave the scene, yes, and we're trying to track that vehicle down and work on some leads on that.
The adult male treated at a nearby hospital for non-life-threatening injuries was identified as the only person hurt.
We do want to reassure our public and our neighbors here that we will be providing extra patrol from the district to help people have some peace of mind and kind of recover from what they had to witness in their neighborhood.
I spoke to some neighbors in the area. None of them wanted to go on camera as police are still searching for vehicles and people involved in the incident. But those neighbors tell me they're used to violence like this on the east side of Madison, but rarely see it right on their street.
All right, thank you, Maddie. Also right now, Sun Prairie police are investigating an overnight shooting that left one person injured. Officers were called to the area of Sunfield Street and Sun Court just before 1 o'clock this morning for reports of shots fired. At the scene, police recovered evidence suggesting that a shooting occurred between people in two vehicles before they left the scene. One person went to the hospital with a gunshot wound. They were treated and later released. Now, if anyone has any information about this incident, you're asked to please call the Sun Prairie Police Department.
The family of a student injured in the Abundant Life Christian School shooting last December has now launched a GoFundMe to support his recovery. Samuel Garduno Martinez was shot multiple times, including in the head, arm, and back. He developed encephalitis during recovery, was put in a coma, and remains in intensive care, now requiring 24-hour support. His next step is specialized rehabilitation near Chicago, where his family will accompany him. The GoFundMe has a $140,000 goal. You can find a link under the story at channel3000.com.
And now turning to the weather, it is chilly out there, finally feeling like fall. And that all comes with this wonderful temperature. Love it, Alex.
Yeah. Alex is here with more.
Yeah, that chill, can you believe it was almost 90 degrees just a few days ago, and now that fall-like chill is in the air. We said it was coming, chilly enough for frost for a good part of southern Wisconsin, especially from the Wisconsin River Valley, let's say U.S. Highway 151 and areas off towards the north and towards the west, where we have a frost advisory, and in fact, from 3 a.m. Wednesday morning to 9 a.m. Wednesday morning. So if this is your last opportunity, maybe pull in those tender plants if you're still caring for any of those plants that are outdoors, or maybe throw a sheet or a blanket over those fall mums. This is the opportunity to do that, especially if you're north of Madison. And here's what we're up against. We'll do a low of 32 in Camp Douglas, but some areas to the north up in Juneau, Adams, Marquette, Green Lake counties, so you might dip to below 30 tonight in some isolated spots. We'll do mid-30s to upper 30s in Madison, right around 40 towards the Wisconsin-Illinois border. High temperatures tomorrow will be pleasant, fall-like, just a degree or two below normal, in the lower 60s with sunny skies. But when I come back, I'll let you know if these frosty conditions are going to continue for many more nights ahead.
Sounds good. Thank you, Alex. Today, the City of Madison residents get a first look at how city resources will be funded next year. Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway unveiled the first executive operating budget plans for 2026. This comes after voters approved a referendum to increase the levy limit last year when the budget was in a shortfall. However, this year, the mayor says the city is working proactively to address what she calls underfunding at the state level.
We continue to lobby for fair treatment of local governments at the state level. We are also strategically using the city's reserves to help cover the structural deficit gap that state law has imposed on us for the past 14 years.
This budget also increases spending by roughly 5% compared to last year. That increase is partly from the 3% raises for some city employees and safety personnel. It still has to go through several finance committee sessions and common council hearings before the final version is adopted in January.
Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Call announces he will not be running for governor. Instead, he'll seek a third term as Attorney General. Call nearly 3/4 of the way through his second term. Back in 2018, he defeated then incumbent Republican Brad Schimmel for the position and also held off a challenge from Republican Eric Toney in 2022. Now, we spoke with Call about his decision to run again for AG rather than seek the governor's office.
There's a real opportunity right now for attorneys general to do a lot of important work. A lot of critical issues are being decided in the courts right now.
And Toney is expected to again run for Attorney General in the upcoming election.
This afternoon, Wisconsin Republican lawmakers talked about a slate of bills that centered on increasing affordable housing. The bills aim to boost the supply side, encouraging smaller lots, streamlining regulations, and faster approval processes. Lawmakers say the effort brings together builders, realtors, and local governments to address the growing demand for affordable housing.
The average age right now for first-time home buyers is about 39 years old. To buy a median-priced home, you need about $171,000 in income now. That's actually startling to me. So the homes that my parents were able to buy, my grandparents were able to buy, just aren't available anymore.
During the meeting, lawmakers also discussed a bill aimed at cracking down on fraudulent service animal certifications. This proposed legislation seeks to clearly distinguish between trained service animals and emotional support animals. This would ensure that only legitimate service animals receive legal protections.
In a meeting this afternoon, U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin addressed the ongoing government shutdown and its impact on health care costs for families in Wisconsin. Over 270,000 Wisconsinites rely on the Affordable Care Act tax breaks, and a new Kaiser Family Foundation poll found 78% of Americans, and that includes a majority of Republicans along with Democrats and independents, support extending the tax credits. Senator Baldwin highlighted the struggles faced by families and small businesses as premiums are set to rise.
An estimated 4 million Americans are going to get that letter and realize that they simply cannot afford health care at all anymore. Small business owners might see staff flee for big corporations that can afford a big group insurance policy.
Senator Baldwin also called on Republicans to work with Democrats to reopen the government and lower those health care costs, emphasizing the urgent need for bipartisan action.
It turns out most Americans should still be able to get a COVID-19 vaccine for free. Most private insurers and Medicaid will cover vaccines recommended by the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices at no cost through next year. But the CDC has added an extra hurdle to get this shot. People who want it must now consult with a healthcare provider first. However, a prescription is not necessarily needed. Also, Costco is now selling weight loss drugs at lower prices. Ozempic and Wegovy can now be purchased from Costco pharmacies for $499 for a 1-month supply. Now, that is less than half of the total price when the products are bought elsewhere. And some Costco members can get additional discounts as well. The drugs are appetite suppressants, which cause people to eat less and in most cases lose weight as a result.
With the holiday shopping season right around the corner, Amazon is holding its second Prime sales event of the year. Amazon says Prime Big Deal Days include millions of items, many with double-digit discounts. Observers say the online retail giant's own private labels are playing a big role.
You see things like the Amazon Echo Buds or the Amazon Fire Tablet with up to 50 to 70% off listed price. And again, that's because it is their private label, right, which gives them that extra flexibility.
Now, according to Adobe Analytics, overall U.S. online sales are forecast to surpass $253 billion this holiday season. That's up more than 5% from last year. Walmart and Target are both planning sales promotions in the days ahead.
Well, still to come tonight at 6, Texas National Guard troops are deployed to Illinois.
And concerns are rising over if furloughed government workers will receive any back pay. This as the ongoing shutdown begins to impact air travel. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
It is now day 7 of the federal government shutdown, with new concerns rising about whether furloughed workers will be entitled their back pay.
And this comes as the deadlock is also impacting the nation's air travel. Erica Brown has more.
President Trump suggested Tuesday that some of the more than 700,000 furloughed workers could be denied back pay once the shutdown ends.
It really depends on who you're talking about. But for the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way.
CBS News has learned the White House's Office of Management and Budget is circulating a draft memo suggesting federal employees may not be entitled to back pay, despite a 2019 law signed by President Trump after the last government shutdown.
Congress, on both sides of the aisle, should take a stand against denying pay entitled to furloughed workers.
I believe it's a strategic mistake to now let those folks know or let them think that they could potentially not get back pay.
The president also said Tuesday he will be announcing layoffs within the next 4 or 5 days if the shutdown continues.
A lot of those jobs will never come back.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers remained deadlocked over health care. Democrats want an extension to Affordable Care Act subsidies, but Republicans insist the shutdown should end first.
Democrats remain ready to seriously negotiate with Republicans to address the health care crisis and get out of the Republican shutdown.
The consequences for the American people are very real, and this just has to stop.
The shutdown is also impacting air travel nationwide, with several airports reporting staffing shortages as a result of some air traffic controllers calling out sick.
That's the way they have to protest, right? They have no other way to show that it's hurting not just them, but us.
The staffing shortages are resulting in flight delays. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Also tonight, National Guard troops from Texas have arrived at an Army Reserve Center near Chicago. This is despite a lawsuit filed by the city and state of Illinois. Their assignments could begin as soon as tomorrow. Now, this comes after a federal judge declined to immediately issue a temporary restraining order ahead of a Thursday hearing. Chicago's mayor criticized the mobilization of the Texas troops, as well as several hundred Illinois guardsmen.
It's illegal, unconstitutional. It's dangerous. It's wrong.
If you look at Chicago, Chicago's a great city where there's a lot of crime. And if the governor can't do the job, we'll do the job.
A federal judge temporarily blocked a deployment to Portland, Oregon. The restraining order is in place until October 19th, and a Department of Justice appeal will be considered on Thursday.
The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments challenging a ban on conversion therapy for minors in Colorado. A lawyer for the state told the justices that there is a, quote, mountain of evidence that conversion therapy is harmful. The case was brought by Kaylee Childs, a Christian mental health counselor who says the 2019 law violates her free speech.
Struggling kids benefit from access to voluntary counseling conversations that help them as they seek wholeness and gaining peace with their bodies. They deserve better than Colorado's one-size-fits-all approach.
Now, critics say the law unfairly limits what therapists can discuss with kids about gender and sexuality.
And now to our forecast. It's beginning to really feel a lot more like fall across the area.
Alex, will these cooler temps stick around for the rest of the week?
Unfortunately, if you want the cool temperatures to stick around, I don't have such good news for you. We're going to be back up into the mid-70s by the time we get to the upcoming weekend. That's going to be approaching 10, if not 12 degrees above normal. So from the fall-like temperatures that we're having right now, and we said we would have these temperatures, we're going to go right back up the thermometer readings to well above normal. Not above normal tonight. We're below normal. Normal low is 43. We're going to do 35 in Baraboo, 32 in Camp Douglas, 37 in Madison, hanging on to 40 along the Wisconsin-Illinois border. And when you have temperatures in the low to mid-30s, that brings the chance for the potential for some frost. We have a frost advisory 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. Wednesday for areas north of Madison, north of the Wisconsin River Valley. But we can't rule out some patchy frost in Grant, Iowa, Dane counties, probably also Dodge and Jefferson counties as well. I think areas towards the Wisconsin-Illinois border with those lows right around 40. I don't think you'll have patchy frost, but widespread frost is expected the further north you go up towards central Wisconsin, where they have freeze warning in place. Is this odd? Is this unusual? No. Our average freeze, or the time where we're going to start to see the frosty conditions build in, that's around October 1st, and today is October 7th. So we're right about where we should be for this time of year and seeing that first freeze or that first frost across the area. And all we're going to do is upper 50s to lower 60s, so pleasantly cool on Wednesday with sunny skies, so that's a bonus there. At least we get the sunshine and temperatures in the lower 60s. That 10-day forecast, here we go. We start to climb back up. Thursday, 66. Friday, 67. 72 on Saturday. There's at 75 on Sunday. I think the games, temperatures are going to be in the 70s and mild conditions, so plan for that. Then we bring a little rain in on Monday and then again on Wednesday, but not expecting any big storms, not expecting any big thunderstorm chances or alert day conditions in this forecast here. And I said in our 6 o'clock newscast that we'd go even further into October. This is taking us to the latter part of October, a good part of the country, at least 2/3 or more likelihood of warmer than normal conditions. What about that water? Staying dry for the southern part of the United States. Madison, you're right on that dividing line here between wetter than normal conditions across the Rocky Mountain states and the northern high plains. So we're right in that zone where we can still expect the potential for some weather systems, but not looking as though it's going to be significant rain events anytime soon. Now, here's some also good news here for southern Wisconsin. Well, I should say for the entire state of Wisconsin. If you're in southern Wisconsin, want to take a little travel to the north. They are starting to see those fall colors peak, so beautiful weekend to go north, and if you happen to make it north this weekend, the colors will be quite stunning. It'll take till the middle to the latter part of October before we get those stunning colors this far south in southern Wisconsin.
Starting to see it here. It's gorgeous.
It's coming.
All right, thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
And coming up, preparing for Iowa, how Wisconsin football looks to win back the Heartland Trophy from the Hawkeyes. That's next in sports.
Well, head coach Luke Fickell and his Badgers are looking to shift a little momentum.
They are. After 3 losses in a row, the team hopes to find its second wind as they head into this rivalry game against the Hawkeyes. Our Nash Dara has more.
If you recall, last November, the Badgers traveled to Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City to face the Hawkeyes, hoping to bring back to Madison the Heartland Trophy in what was then a 2-year skid. Iowa, however, had other plans as they trampled Wisconsin 42-10, symbolizing that final stretch of the 2024 season for Bucky. But this Saturday, the Badgers have the opportunity to retake the bowl for the first time since 2021.
There's no doubt that what happened last year is something that's fresh in the minds of everybody on this team and a part of this program. And so, we've got our work cut out for what we need to be able to do and learn from what happened last year and understand and recognize that this is what makes college football great.
The squad will be looking to get that bad taste out of their mouth as they are in dire need of a win, while head coach Luke Fickell is still searching for that first win against the Iowa Hawkeyes football team. At Camp Randall, Nash Dara, News 3 Sports.
And don't forget to tune into the Wisconsin Huddle Friday night. Sports Director Andrew Banstra will be joined by Wisconsin Volleyball's Kristen Simon as the 7th-ranked Badgers look to continue their current win streak after a sweep of the Wolverines over the weekend. The show airs again this Friday, 6:30 p.m. It's right after News 3 Now at 6.
Well, the 2-1-1 start to the season for the Packers sure hasn't been all the team hoped it would be.
They allowed 40 points to go through in their tie with the Cowboys giving up 40 points in that 40-40 tie. You can't say 40 enough, apparently. A stark contrast to their performance in the 3 games before when the defense held together pretty well. News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde with more on how the team is focusing to get back to the basics on defense.
The Packers returned to practice after their bye week with some work to do on their defense, kind of like the work these guys are doing on the Packers goalposts here at Lambeau Field. After allowing 40 points in a tie with the Dallas Cowboys, the focus now for this defense is to get back to being the defense they were for the first 3 games, when they led the NFL in scoring defense at 14.7 points per game and were virtually impenetrable the way they were playing.
There was a lot of issues, obviously. Anytime you give up 40 points, it's not good enough. I thought, it was like a snowball effect. Once they got the one touchdown, and then we had obviously the major miscue at the end of the half in terms of being aggressive in a situation that if I could go back in time, would do it totally different in regards to just hand the ball off, try to get out of the half. But it's just we never recovered from that point forward.
I talked to Packers All-Pro safety Xavier McKinney earlier this week, and he is of the firm belief that this defense is what it was in those first 3 games, not what it was against the Dallas Cowboys. But it's up to that group to prove that's the case, and they can start doing so on Sunday right here at Lambeau Field against the Cincinnati Bengals. I assume the goalpost will be fixed by then. And right here on Channel 3, we'll have full coverage of Packers-Bengals leading into the game on channel3000.com for free. And while you're there, remember to sign up for our newsletter, which delivers our Packers coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
And as Jason said, you can watch the green and gold take on the Bengals right here on Channel 3. Kickoff set for 3:25 on Sunday after the goalposts are fixed at Lambeau Field. That's going to do it for sports.
Alex is back with a final check of the weather when we come back.
Please welcome the former host of the Colbert Report, Stephen Colbert.
The Late Show.
I have freedom of speech.
CBS Tonight.
Well, finally tonight, a loyal dog comes to the rescue of his grandma. Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office deputies were called to the scene from a distraught husband concerned about his missing wife. She'd gone out for a walk with her son's dog and had not returned.
After driving around the neighborhood, a deputy spotted the dog named Eeyore. The faithful four-legged friend then led the deputy to Grandma. She can be actually heard in the background of the video. I was trying to hear if we could hear her there. It's Eeyore. She says Eeyore's a good boy. Grandma loves you. As of today, that video shared on the Sheriff's Office Facebook has nearly 100,000 interactions. Well, that was actually earlier today. It's probably a lot more now.
Oh my God.
Everybody loves a good dog story, and that is a good dog.
And finds Grandma, of
And he calls
course.
Grandma, Grandma.
Exactly.
Your mom calls your dog her granddog.
My dog tells us that's Grandma.
That's Grandma. Your dog talks. You buried the lead.
I know.
Alex is back with a final check of the forecast. Keep an eye out for frost overnight.
Yeah, frost. This is that last chance to pull in any tender plants if you're still caring for those, or if you want to throw that blanket over the fall mums, especially areas north of Madison. This is that last call, so to speak, with that frost advisory going into effect from 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Better chances for frost again north of Madison, a little lesser of a chance as you go to the south towards the Janesville area. Then tomorrow night we could have a little bit of patchy frost as well, but then look at the temperature soar, 70s by the weekend.
But not too hot.
Not too hot, not the 80s at least.
Well, it looks great, too, for the football games coming up this weekend. Thanks for joining us. Colbert's next. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.
Have a good